Hello everybody, today I'm filming a video about cultural shocks that I got in Paris. This video will be useful for you if you're planning to come to Paris, or if you've already been here, you can just watch it and write in the comments down below if you had the same thing. So growing up, I've moved a lot, I still do, and in the past 3 years I've moved to 3 countries, and this is going to be like the major advice if you're planning to move to another country, or specifically Paris. But in general, usually when you move to a new country, you get like a culture shock, probably because certain things may seem weird to you, and maybe some people seem rude or just like unusual. The clothes, the food, everything is different. Obviously you move to a different country. But this is the best advice I can give you, is don't protest and fight against these differences, just accept them. And this was an advice given by my buddy, and quoting, he just said, just dive into the new culture. Like, don't waste your time complaining that things are not right. You probably had your own reason to come to Paris or a different country, so just discover new things and widen your view. Just be part of the culture, and then it'll be fun, it will be new things, you'll discover new things, and it will help your homesickness. Like, if you just sit home and then do nothing and just complain that's different, which I did for the first 1 month. Anyways, it's not fun. It doesn't help your homesickness. So again, don't reject it, go with the flow. So these are not just my opinions, this is the things I learned from my class, from my friends, and this is like the information that I gathered all together. And the first one is, this is about Paris. Customer service. One of the first encounters that you probably gonna get is boulangerie. Boulangerie is a place where you just buy bread and baguette and croissant and everything. So when I first came to Paris, the first thing I did is I went to a boulangerie and bought a croissant. I was treated differently than usual. One of my Scandinavian friends, she said that customer is the king, and we had like a whole class discussion about this, and this was very funny. But apparently in Paris you're not the king. I mean, you have to be nice, you have to come in and say bonjour madame, bonjour monsieur, and you have to like ask nicely, and then you just, when you finish, you're like c'est tout, merci, au revoir, and you have to say like things like that. And because if you're rude, like, not even if you're rude, if you're just like casual and be like, yeah, can I have that bread? Apparently, like, there were some people who just like got the bread tossed on front of them. So the customer service is not best in Paris. You have to be nice to people serving you, or you just get bad service, which is quite unusual. I lived in Turkey for some time, and the thing is, like, the customer is the king. I mean, like, everything, like, there's this competition, and like you have to get customers, and you're just generally nice to customers. Or like, even in England, like, customer service is ace in there. I mean, you have a problem, just call them and then everything's fine. Here, it's a long process. Number 2, Paris is very pretty and classic and very beautiful in general, but when I first came here, one of the things that I was not expecting was the amount of graffiti that there is on the streets. Some of them are really beautiful, but I even went out and took some pictures with some beautiful graffiti, but some of them are not as pretty as it should be, or I don't know. I think it's not the fact that it's pretty or ugly, it's the fact that there's a lot of graffiti, and then I'm not sure if you have like a government regulations, but you have graffiti everywhere. Not in touristic pretty places, but like in streets in general. I live in the Gare de Lyon area, and then when I first came, I was like, oh, that's a lot of graffiti. And in my case, it was just like a couple of people just writing their names and weird scribbles and things like that. Number 3, this is like a stereotype, but when I first came to Paris, I was like, it's like when you look at our study books and things like that, you can always see like a French person. You know those like when you're like defining people by the culture, and this is a French person, this is an Italian person. Like Italian person usually like calls a pizza or something, and like the French person has like a beret and like the baguette, and the mustache. Yeah, the mustache. And when I first came, I was like expecting that Gossip Girl, Paris, the place where they just like had cafes and like French people wearing berets and like with the mustaches. I didn't see anything like that. In fact, the only person I saw wearing a beret was an Asian person in Louvre, just going around like just a tourist. So yeah, but the baguette thing is really true. Like French really love their baguettes. Number 4 is the amount of French. I mean, you are if you're gonna live in Paris, you are expected to speak French. I mean, like French banks, schools, telephone services, shops, small places that you need to go. Most of the time there won't be English speakers, it will be French speakers. So if you're like me, it's the first time you're in Paris and then you need to do things and you don't know French and the only thing you know is je ne parle pas français, you're gonna have a hard time. The thing I advise you to do, actually the only thing you can do, is like find a friend who can go around with you and help with you with your things, such as like buying a telephone number or like opening a bank account. Opening a bank account is a whole different video. I mean, it's a never-ending loop. Like you have to have so many documents. But anyways, I once this encounter with the police, not the police. I have this student travel card, and you basically pay like 35 euros a month and it's unlimited free pass. So I went into the metro and the metro was closed, so I came out of the metro and went to the tram. Would you call the tram? I think it's like tram in French, so I just said tram. So anyways, I went in and I just sat down, and right after me the French ticket person came and he like took my card and he wanted to check it, and obviously like I just went in and I didn't press my card, so I got fined. But I couldn't understand why I got fined, because obviously I pay for it and it's free. Not free, it's unlimited for the whole month. But I was trying to like reason with him and ask him questions in English, and he was like kinda speaking in English, but then again he got angry and then he kinda just said c'est le français and tu dois parler en français, like you should speak French, and nothing happened. I mean, I just paid the fine, and it's hard without knowing how to speak French. Number 6. I don't have fingers for it. Number 6. L'administration. Oui? L'administration. French love their papers and things like that. You have to always have your birth certificate, you always have to have your passport with you, you always need things to open accounts. It's like very slow. They can lose your papers if you like send your papers to the CAF. 1 month later they will be like, hey, send me these documents, and you'll be like, oh, I'll send it to you, but it's lost. They need a lot of things. Like they even needed my income sheet, like income statement from 2014. 2014 I was back in school doing nothing. I didn't have an income, but they still require you to have those kind of things. So basically there's a lot of paperwork. Speaking, like this is a totally different theme. Number 7, pickpocketing. Speaking of having your precious passports and documents and the French bureaucracy thing, and you being a foreigner in Paris, losing one of your documents is a nightmare. Like the next couple of weeks you're going to spend in the police station, and like this whole time obviously you also don't speak French, so yeah. Pickpocketing is very common in here. For example, I went to Belgium once, and we were in Porte-Malio, and as a group we were just like in a circle, and I had a rucksack, but I put my things in my inner pockets, and someone just pushed me into the middle, and I was like, what's happening? And apparently there was this guy, there's not a guy, there's two guys standing behind me, and they like opened my backpack, and they were like trying to find something there, but like the funny thing is they were still standing behind me. I was like staring at them, and they were like just looking around, pretending like nothing happened, and then they just like left. And second thing is I got my card, the transport card, pickpocketed. I went into the metro. When I came out, I didn't have my card, and to replace the card you also need to pay a fee of 30 euros, so that happened as well. Number 3, I've only lived here for 5 months, just saying, and like yesterday or the day before, we went into the metro, and there was this guy, and the pickpocketer, he kind of was just going out of the metro, and this woman was like telling to the guy, like, hey, like you just got pickpocketed. And then the pickpocketer heard this, and then he just kind of came back in, and then he was like, oh, is this your wallet? Like just casually gave the wallet back. But like, and then he just stood there, and then like when the doors were closing, the metro makes the beep beep sound, and then when he heard that sound, he just went out. So yeah, that's my story about pickpocketing. So always like have your things inside your pockets, because I had a couple of friends who just lost their bag as a whole, where they had their computers, passports, money, everything. I had friends who got their wallet stolen. And don't ever store your wallet, passport, credit cards, and every single identity you have in one thing, because that's what my friend did. Also, one of my other friends actually got kind of, how do you say it, like they actually, like these guys actually just stopped her and dragged her into a corner, and like forcefully made her, like pickpocketed her. I mean, it was very bad, and I think they used some kind of defensive machine. Not like, I don't know what they call it. You know, the things that you wear on your hands, and then you kind of like, if you punch someone, it will hurt. So that kind of thing. In general, if you go out in normal, like in good times, like when it's not scary, and like use the right metro, and not go into places where no one goes, everything's gonna be fine. So these were the 7 facts and cultural shocks that you might get in Paris. I hope this video helped you, and I hope that you will be okay and have fun in Paris. And if you experience these kind of things, just write them in the comments below, or if you have any questions, you can ask them in the comments below, or you can find me on Instagram. It's in the description down below. Have a good day, guys. Bye.